Hello guys, this is UniversalGiant, welcome back for more of Let's Play, I almost said The Legend of Zelda. Mario Kart Super Circuit for the Game Boy Advance. We took on the Mushroom Cup last time, and today we're going to be taking on the Extra Mushroom Cup and get a look at some of the SNES courses. And of course by some, I mean all of them, because all of them are in this game. And just like on the SNES, you have to make 5 laps around the course as opposed to just 3, which is going to make some of these seem incredibly long, others seem incredibly short. Oh, who am I kidding? They're all going to seem incredibly short. Because here we are, we messed up a bit, and we've already completed a lap in 15 seconds. I'm not sure why Peach is faster than me. But Toad, at least in the game's description, is touted as being one of the fastest players, rivaled only by Peach. And that's, of course, because they're lightweights. Now, I'm not sure why, because in a lot of the other Mario Kart games, the heavier characters are also given higher top speed, but at least in this game, those lightweight characters are described as having the best top speed, despite being lightweights, so I'm not really sure what the deal with that is, but yeah, there's the case for Red Shell giving up on you after chasing you for so long. I never actually timed how long it takes. But I kind of figured I was going to wind up being hit by that banana, so I just decided to hell with it. Suck it, Donkey Kong! I completely forgot what I was saying before. I get the feeling this is going to happen quite a bit because I tend not to be able to concentrate when I'm talking. Despite Let's Playing for 3.5 years, I don't know why I do it either. But Donut Plains! And this is just the first of the Donut Plains. These get ridiculously hard to negotiate with the typical drifting, which is why I will probably wind up resorting to just normal turning without the drifting. Maybe not in Donut Plains 1, but these courses are probably going to be where I wind up saying, you know what, screw it, it's not worth it anymore. At least Donut Plains 1, it's not so bad. I didn't even see that Red Shell comment. And you gotta figure there's nobody near behind me, so where did it come from for me to not have any sort of warning that it was coming? But it's very faint to see that part of that is off-road over there, where it looked like the screen was kind of vibrating. I don't know, it's really difficult to tell. It was a lot easier for me to see on the, Game Boy Advance itself when I was playing this before. But it's difficult to see what I was driving on right there on the inside of that turn. Is sort of an off-road, sort of not. You can maintain your speed, but it gives you a little less control in terms of your drifting, and this isn't the only kind of course where that appears. I know there are a couple of the ghost tracks that do that, where it's extremely difficult to tell. But these are probably going to be the courses where I say, screw it, I'm not going to be drifting anymore. I do like to think I was good enough at this game when I was a kid that I have a decent control of the drifting, but I'm not a master of it by any means. So even though it's probably easier to negotiate these tracks without drifting, I do believe you don't lose any of your speed when you drift, as opposed to when you just turn without drifting, where you do lose a good bit of speed. At least that was always my impression of it. But speaking of the ghost levels, Ghost Valley! The characteristic trait of these courses are the boundaries. You can see the little brownish-gray blocks that are on the side. If you hit any of those, they go away, and they stay off for the rest of the race. So if you're trying to take a shortcut and you're prone to hitting a wall when you get to the end of that shortcut, pay careful attention not to hit that same wall again, because it will not be there the next time you take it. Like if I run into that wall again, those bars don't come back. But other than that, there isn't too much to write home about in terms of these particular courses. I want to say that the darker wood is rough, so it's difficult to negotiate a turn on those, but I almost ran into that. And the biggest thing about this game that hasn't necessarily come into play yet, and I hope it doesn't for a little while, but when you so much as lay... I stole another boo item with my boo. Now that's efficiency, and that is efficiency at its finest. I don't know why I almost said nutshell. And I will also try to show off that shortcut, where I think in the SNES you needed a feather to do that, and I forgot I didn't have a brake button there. Could you at least drop me on the finish line so I didn't have to cross it? Because that would have been nice. I didn't realize how close Peach was either. But a lot of the shortcuts that were in the SNES version that you needed a feather for are relics of the past, because there are no feathers in this game. You can hop, and there are jumps placed here and there, but more often than not, they won't help you here. And having never played Super Mario Kart well enough to know what all of the shortcuts would have been, it's difficult for me to say whether or not you can make specific ones. I know that there are a couple of them I've seen before that I simply don't know how to do. But other than that, I wouldn't really be able to notice that they were there at all, since I've never really played Super Mario Kart extensively enough that I'd be able to notice them in the first place. But feel free to point them out in the comments if I don't see them. But one of the reasons why I've never played Super Mario Kart is probably why I'm supposed to hate this game, because the drifting is so bad. And I like to think, at least as far as I've been going in this one so far, I'm not doing too badly. At least judging by the fact that I'm really kicking these guys' asses. And this is going to be a running trend for a lot of the SNES tracks where you do reasonably well. Because the CPUs have to make 5 laps around in an attempt to catch up to you. And in those 5 laps, they tend to get scattered about a little bit, to the point where, at least for a couple of specific tracks, like I can think of the Cooper Beaches, you really tend to get a good lap on the majority of the racers by the time you finish. Now, Peach is relatively close to me, to the point where if I do something incredibly stupid, she'll probably catch up. But you can see we're already starting to catch up to Bowser and Wario here. And that red shell doesn't do anything because he's not actually in front of me, he's behind me. But there was an instance of the boo actually doing something to the person in first place that was not the person who used it. And they're doing it again. And you stole the green shell that I was about to pull out, which is why I wasn't able to use it. So even though Peach wasn't that close to us, it wasn't too much of a bother to have the boo hit us twice. It can be incredibly devastating towards the end of the race where you absolutely need to use an item. And not only do you lose it, but you get slowed down, you lose all of your coins, and it's no fun for anybody. But that was the Extra Mushroom Cup. Next time, we'll move back onto the new courses that were in Mario Kart Super Circuit. The Flower Cup, I think, probably will do the Flower Cup next. This is UniversalGiant, and I'll see you next time.